Well, hey everybody, Danny Hooper, professional fundraising auctioneer, a certified fundraising auctioneer. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about that right now. Do you really need to hire an auctioneer? And the answer to that is, if you're having a fundraising auction event, the answer is absolutely. You need to have somebody that knows what they're doing. The fundraising auctioneer world is highly specialized, just as it is if you're an estate auctioneer, an auto auctioneer, livestock auctioneer. I'd be dead in about 2 minutes if I had to go in and do a cattle auction and some rancher had brought in 200 head of his cattle and I was trying to sell them. It's a different style of auctioneering. I'd be dead if I had to go do a Barrett-Jackson auction. I don't know anything about car auctions and vehicle auctions. I certainly know the fundraising auction space, and the reality is that auctioneers that specialize as certified fundraising auctioneers have taken a lot of training. They've been certified by the National Auctioneers Association, and most of us have a designation that specializes in this field called a BAS, which is Benefit Auctioneer Specialist. So I just want to talk about the different types of auctioneers. Now, most auctioneers, livestock, auto, estate, general auctioneers, they think in terms of how much money can I get for this car, how much money can I get for this cow. Fundraising auctioneers like myself, we have a completely different mindset. We walk into a room full of people and we say, how much money is in this room and how can we capture as much of that money for our client as possible? And the reality is there's all kinds of techniques, tools, and strategies that we use. I've been a fundraising auctioneer since 1987, and now I use things like wildcard auctions, triple chance raffles, cash appeals, legacy auctions, double ups. There's all kinds of techniques and strategies. And if you have the local weather person coming in to do your auction or somebody else coming in to do it and you're getting them simply because they're donating their time, are they really serving you or your organization if at the end of the night they've left $50,000 on the table or $100,000 or who knows? I was doing an event a few years ago, and this is a great story. It was for an organization called Compassion House, and this is a residential style facility that is in our city, located close to our cancer treatment center. And Compassion House is where women undergoing treatment for breast cancer or other types of cancer can stay when they're coming into the city from outside of town. And that night they were trying to raise money to pay off a $250,000 mortgage on an addition that they had built onto Compassion House. Well, I got the idea. We'd watched a very emotional video, and it featured a lot of the women who were staying in Compassion House, and they were talking about how important it was and how nice it was to have a facility like that when they had to be in our city for extended periods away from their families and their homes. So we came off this video, very, very emotional, and I went to the audience and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I know that we have some of the most successful people in our city in this room tonight. What I don't know is if we have 25 people, successful business people, who would consider making a donation of $10,000. And what I really don't know is if we could do this in a minute or less. So I kind of gamified it. I knew we had lots of money in the room. Well, we started, and I had the first hand go up and then a second hand, and I recognized the first couple of people, and all of a sudden, hands started popping up in the air like tulips in the springtime. And in about 90 seconds, we had 35 people raise their hands. So we raised $350,000 in 90 seconds. Then I knew I had a situation where how could we capture? We weren't using bid cards. We weren't planning to do a cash appeal. And I kind of thought, well, now how do we make sure we capture all of these donations? So I came up with an idea. I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you just put your hand up and made a pledge, can we get you all onto the stage? We'd like a nice group photo. So we had all 35 people, because I'll tell you what might have happened. What could have happened is between the moment that they put their hand up in the air and the end of the night after a few drinks, I'm just saying, some people may have forgot that they made that pledge and made that donation on their way out the door, and that money might not have been gathered. But as it turned out, we had all 35 people come on the stage for the photo, so we captured all 35 donations. So this is just the way that a fundraising auctioneer thinks, and I'm not so certain that if you had a local media personality or a livestock auctioneer up there doing their event because they've donated their time, that would have really served that organization. So give that some serious thought. And the nice thing about Benefit Auction Specialists, I've got many clients now that I've been serving for 25 years and longer, consecutive years. So obviously, you're creating value for these clients, or they wouldn't book you back. That's one thing. But the one thing you want to ask yourself is, how can we pay for the auctioneer? There's lots of ways that you could do it. Number one, a good benefit auctioneer is going to pay for himself or herself, just because they're coming with these techniques like the wild card auction, cash appeal. They know how to execute all these extra techniques and have all these strategies to raise the extra money. Another thing that we're seeing going on a lot right now is finding a sponsor for your fundraising auction. So start with your local car dealerships or people that have a high profile in the community that have successful businesses. Let them know you want to bring in a certified benefit auctioneer, somebody that knows what they're doing, and they can underwrite or sponsor the cost to have that auctioneer come in for the evening. It's a great idea. We're seeing it happen more and more all the time. So if you're going to have an auction, get the right person there. The most important person that you have in the room the night of your fundraising auction event is going to be the person behind the microphone, and that ideally is a certified benefit auctioneer specialist. Not a cattle auctioneer, not a car auctioneer, and definitely not a weatherman or weatherwoman or weather person, or however you identify.